Exercise 4, that's our last hurdle. We are asked to do what? Configure what? Cluster aware what? Updating. So we're going to install the cluster aware updating features. Then we're going to be previewing the updates on, I think we should do that on, we're going to do that on server 1. Okay? Can we go to the main server? Go to your main server system. Okay, I think that's where we are currently. So we'll go to the server manager. So we're going to install the features. So we're going to click add rows and features. We'll click next. We'll click next again. We'll click next. Next. Then we'll look for cluster aware updating. Just a minute. So we install failover clustering. So we'll click next. So we'll click next and install. So let's just wait for that to go through and get installed. Okay, guys, let's proceed. We've installed the role, right? These guys have think of.
Yeah, let's continue.
Is the trainer here? No, you won't do that anymore. Okay, let's continue. Let's just it's just to monitor the cluster aware updating. We're not doing anything complicated. Okay, we've installed it. Okay, so can we open the cluster aware updating? We'll close this now. Let's go to the tools. Let's go to tools. Then we go to, do you see cluster aware updating?
Yes.
Click on it. So who are we connected to? Cluster what? Cluster 1, right? So type the word cluster 1. That's it. You can see it pops up immediately, right? Then you click connect. Exactly. That's it. So it says you should preview the updates available for cluster 1. You see the updates. So we click preview update for this cluster. So we can look for Windows updates or Microsoft hotfixes. So let's click generate update preview list. It's generating, so we'll just leave it to go through. So just click preview for this preview update for this cluster, Windows updates or whichever one you want to select. Okay. Then click generate. Now, currently our system is not connected to the internet. Is that not correct? Yes. So certain things may not, certain things may not come upon. So that's it. Attempting to scan or for updates. Okay, the plugin failure, blah blah blah, and all that. So normally it should display some content, but it's working. Okay. Yeah. So it's just going to give us an error just for the lab purposes. So that's for task 1. Task 2, it says we should update the failover cluster and configure self-updating. Do you see where it says close? You can close this. Do you see where it says apply updates to this cluster? So click on that. Of course, that's the cluster name. We'll click next. Of course, that's your advanced option. We can review there all the Microsoft updates and all that. So we click next. And of course, we can ask to give recommendation. So we click next. And that's it. Are we together, class? Mm-hmm. Then we click updates. So this is what we call self-updating. It says cluster update scene has started. When you close the wizard, you can review the progress on the main console. So when you click close now, that's it. It says waiting. So this is what we call self-updating. You can see plugin is scanning and all that. So wait for it to go through. In both nodes, this will happen in both nodes. So it's going to take several minutes, several times. Okay. So we can either stop it, we can allow it to run through until it's finished. Well, while this one is going, we can actually, okay, it's still scanning. Okay, still scanning. So the next thing we can do is to configure self-updating. Cluster aware self-updating. Let me just confirm if the that's the scanning taking place now. So that's the cluster aware updating, of course. So all I can do now, I can just stop it. It's fine. I'll just stop it. It's canceling and it's cancelled. Yeah, that's it. So it's fine. The next step I want to do is to configure self-updating. So let's move to server 3, or server 2. I mean, that where I am right now, server 2. Let's go to server 2. Then on server 2, can you go to the server manager? Then go to tools. Then click on cluster aware updates. Click on it. Okay, in this place, type cluster 1 and click connect. Of course, it will connect to both cluster. You can see updating. You can see, I can see the status as well. Class, can you see that? Okay, did you notice on the panel there's a place it says configure cluster self-updating option? Can you click on that? I guess what you started wizard, right? So click next. Then it says there add cluster row, add the CAU clustered row with self-updating mode enabled for this cluster. Did you see that? And we are asked to configure it on a self-updating schedule, right? And we should do it weekly, right? And what is the time of the day? 4 what? 4 a.m. Who's saying 4 p.m.? 4 p.m. or 4 a.m.? 4 p.m. Of course. I want to know whether people are okay or some of them are sleeping. Okay, 4 a.m. Now, what day of the week? Days of the week? Sunday. So, of course, nobody goes to work on Sunday except those who go and steal money, right? And so we click next. Okay, this is the advanced option. We can type like stop order, like give them a value, right? Like words that we want to, but we're not going to do all that now. So we're going to click next. And of course, we're not going to ask for recommendation. We're going to click confirmation. And that is the confirmation and the schedule. And we'll click on what? Apply. Remember, this is for the cluster 1. This is not for the nodes. Are we together? So I can have up to 2-3 clusters. Are we following? I can create another cluster, then add it to another node. Are we following? So guys, that's all. So it will successfully add the cluster row self-updating, and that will be the end of failover clustering. So that's it. It says what? Success. Then you click on close, and that is it. So self-updating has been configured on the failover cluster. So if you wanted to manage the cluster from here, you can always click here and say manage this cluster. You can click on this place and manage this cluster, and of course it will take you to the failover clustering what? Console. Are we together?
Yes.
It will take you there as well. Then you can generate a report. You can also create a modified updating to run, and you can analyze the readiness. You can analyze the readiness of your updating. Remember, this is updating the failover cluster. Are we together? Huh?
Yes.
Are we together? So guys, that's the end of that's the end for failover clustering. That's all for exercise 4.